Welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Farrah Voltaire, and I'm super excited. We are in my favorite month, February. Oh my gosh. Not only because it's love month, but it's my birthday month. Okay, so anyways, Butterflies, this is going to be such a fun month. I have so many fun lineup guests for you guys and so many fun topics that we're going to be talking about. Today's episode is going to be titled Dear Diary, My Soft Season, and I'm going to explain what that means in a quick short episode, and then on Sunday I'll go even more in depth what I mean by my soft season. But before we get into the episode, please, Butterflies, go ahead, if you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this episode if you're watching it on YouTube. And if you're listening to it on a podcast platform, go ahead and like, share, rate, and download this episode. And if you're specifically listening to this on the Spotify platform, please go ahead and answer that question for me. How did you like this episode? Do you want any more topics? Whatever, just let me know. And then if you aren't following us now, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram at the Butterfly Diaries Podcast. And you can message us at Queen Series Movement at gmail.com if you would like to be a guest. And you can also follow us on TikTok now. Yes, we're on TikTok at the Butterfly Diaries Pod. All right, Butterflies, so let's get straight into it. Oh man, okay, so my soft season, I want to explain to you all what I mean by that. My entire life, I've always had to show up for other people, show up for my family, show up for friends. And sometimes I would have to put myself on the back burner and not really show up for Farrah. I think life has a way of making you have to be strong. And I believe the way that I was also raised, my mother was a single mom of 5 children. And, she did everything under the sun, to keep the house held down. She was working, and I just always see my mom in this strong role. And so seeing her in that role made me need to be strong, made me need to grow up strong. Like I never saw her weak. Like I had to be strong growing up. So I saw myself after high school becoming that strong person in my family. I had to take a lot of roles on very early on in my young adult life. And so I had to be hard in certain places. I couldn't really be soft. Especially to myself. I would beat myself up. My inner dialogue was very, very, very dark, because it would be like, you're not doing enough. You're not going hard enough. You're not succeeding enough. You're not showing up enough. And I would do these things, show up for people, go above and beyond, and really, really show up. And then people will leave and hurt me, and I wouldn't know how to repair after that. Last year, the Lord brought me through a very, very deep season of healing, where he showed me that, why you're having a hard time healing? Because you're not being soft to yourself. Your inner dialogue is literally destroying you daily. You are your biggest enemy right now. You are your worst enemy right now. And when I came to that realization, I was like, oh, okay, God. So show me how to be nice to myself. And so he started to teach me how to speak to myself, especially when I started to feel like I wasn't performing at a good, especially for example, at work, I started to feel like I wasn't performing at a level where I knew I could perform. And I would be like, oh, Farrah, you're so slow, you're not getting it, what's wrong with you? And the Lord's like, stop saying that. Start to speak life into yourself. Start to say the opposite thing, and you'll see the manifestation of that thing. So I started to tell myself while I was working, you're doing the best that you can. You're doing the best that you can. You're exceeding at the best level that you can. And you cannot force yourself to be more than what you are right now. And what you are right now is enough. And the more I started to say that to myself, the more it started to show up in my work. And I started to work at a whole nother level of just excellence, right? And so when it started to show off, I started to get, kudos from managers and my supervisors. I was working in various departments. So it was beautiful, right? So I believe that the work starts within us, right? Butterflies, I always say that it always starts within you. It's you versus you. And the moment you are able to change your inner dialogue and you say, okay, look, today I'm going to show up for myself in a way that I haven't showed up for myself before, then you'll start to see that manifestation within your life. So soft season is a representation. It's all over the place. If you go on TikTok, everybody's like, oh, I'm in my soft season. I'm in my soft season and stuff like that. But for me, Butterflies, soft season means to be kinder to myself, that my inner dialogue is not dismantling who God has called me to be, who God has created me to be. And it's so easy to do it because you're so much like I'm so used to showing up, and being different kinds of Pharaohs, because you're a person, you show up as a person to a different person. Like, everybody has a version of you, right? Everybody has a version of you. So your coworkers have a version of you, your sisters and your brothers have a version of you, your nieces and your nephews have a version of you, your friends have a version of you that they have in their mind. And you're showing up as these things for so many different people, but are you showing up for yourself? So, butterflies, I encourage you, this season of February, let's be kinder to ourselves. Let's take time to pull away from the hustle and the bustle and the showing up and the being there and the being the strong friend and being the strong person and having to be hard all the time, and be kind to yourself. That includes inner dialogue work, which means that you are going to change the way that you speak to yourself, your vocabulary about yourself, the vocabulary that has been spoken over you, butterflies, that other people have said about you, that you're dumb, that you're not, you're not enough, that you're not lovable, that you're not kind, that you're too much, that you're too kind, that all these things that people have spoken over you, this vocabulary, you need to go ahead and go and do the inner dialogue work of changing. Secondly, butterflies, I need you guys to go in and allow the Lord in to this whole, that should be first, I'm sorry. So first, we're going to allow the Lord in to our soft season and say, God, lead me and guide me to the place that you need me to go in regards to my soft season, because I want to be softer to myself so that I can show up softer to the world. I don't want to have to be hard all the time. And that's the thing, butterflies, you don't have to be hard all the time. You don't have to carry the whole world on your shoulders. You don't have to be perfect all the time. You just got to be you, because that's all God requires of you. So allow him to come in, invite him in. Secondly, inner dialogue work. Now you're going to start speaking to yourself with more kind words. Be the best friend that you need for you, right? I saw that quote somewhere the other day where it's like, be the best friend that you want for yourself to yourself, right? So you want to be kinder to yourself, speak nicer to yourself, give yourself encouragement, and don't allow yourself to fall short, right? And then thirdly, butterflies, getting your word. I cannot stress this enough. Getting your word. One thing I'm going to do this month is really, really get in my word and allow the Lord to use the word to build me up, not only spiritually, but emotionally and mentally, because I believe that the word of God is here to not only solidify us in our spirit, man, but to help us mentally. Because the word, when you read the word, it does this like rewiring in your system where it feeds you. It just feeds you and it helps you grow and become better. So butterflies, please, if there's anything that you can and cannot, if there's anything that you can do, get in your word. Get in your word. And one more thing, butterflies, I think you guys know what I'm going to say because I've been saying it since last month. Prayer. Please implement prayer into your daily life. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot get through life without having a prayerful life, without having a prayer every day, every hour of the day, every second of the day. You need to be speaking to God in some type of dialogue. It be worship, it be on your way to work, on your way home from work, on your way to school. Start a dialogue with God, because and like in the last few episodes, I feel like every guest I had, they all said the same thing, where they said all you need to do is have a conversation. It doesn't have to be all biblical and biblically sound and all spiritual and all this extra stuff. It's just, hey God, how you doing? Hey God, here I am. Hey God, what is it that you need from me today? And I promise you, butterflies, as soon as you start that conversation with him, it will get easier from there. All right, butterflies, like I said, I'm not going to hold you guys too long today. I just wanted to introduce the topic to you, and then we're going to go in depth on those, I believe, 4 things. Yes. So those 4 things I just mentioned, we're going to go in depth on those 4 things on Sunday. Okay, butterflies? And it's just going to be me and you for the next few episodes. I know you guys missed that. So I'm going to bring the intimacy back with just me and you guys for this month. We'll have about 1 or 2 guests, but it's going to be such a great month. And I cannot wait to see what God is about to do in your life, in my life, and in everyone's lives surrounding us, butterflies. So what do? Always fly high. All right, butterflies. See you next time.